As we have been announcing, we are planning on starting masses with a congregation this week. We'll have weekday masses, and next weekend we'll have the weekend masses with the congregation. What we're going to do next week is have a 5 p.m. Mass and a 9 a.m. Mass. 5 p.m. on Saturday, 9 a.m. on Sunday. The weekday Masses will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday will be at 8 a.m. Thursday evening we'll have a 7 p.m. Mass for those that find it difficult to come in the morning. All masses will be here in the parish center, and all this information that I'm giving you is pretty much in the bulletin this week. If you want to go back and read it for yourself, you can. Be aware that we need to follow certain guidelines since the pandemic is still present in our society. And initially, it is recommended that people 65 years of age and older should not come or should not attend, nor should anyone attend who has a fever or a compromised immune system. Now, our ushers at the Mass are not going to be like the police. They're not going to card you when you come in. So if you want to fudge a little bit, if you're 65 or a little older and you're in good health otherwise, we will not turn people away. But I'm giving you the recommendations that are the traditional guidelines that we're supposed to follow. For those who may not risk coming to Sunday Mass, would like something that they feel a little safer in, they can attend one of the weekday Masses, and certainly a lot of the older folks might consider that as a good alternative. And the bishops have said basically we're not obligated by the Sunday Mass at this time, and they say that any Mass that we go to during the week would be helpful or sufficient to fulfill whatever obligation there may be. Masses during the week, of course, would have far fewer people, and so we can be a little more relaxed. So as we enter the parish center, the doors will be open, so you don't have to touch the doors. We ask you just to park on the parking lot outside. Doors will be open. And as you enter, please socially distance. And I would suggest that you would maybe come a little early. Don't try to everybody come at 3 minutes till Mass, because then it takes a little time to move us through, because we are socially distancing. As you come in, you are expected to wear a mask during the service, which I think is a good thing. If you don't have a mask, if you have a mask, bring your own. If you don't have a mask, one will be provided for you. As you come in, there will also be hand sanitizers that you can use. Now, the expectation of wearing a mask would not apply to smaller children, of course, and to anyone who has any kind of health complication that would make it not practical for them to wear a mask. Ushers and greeters, as we move into the parish center, ushers and greeters would assist you in finding a good seating arrangement. Chairs will be set up here in singles, couples, family. So if you're a family unit, you can sit together. If you're a couple, you can sit together. If you're an individual, please find an individual chair and keep the distance of 6 feet between you and the others around you. These chairs are basically already set up to accommodate that. During the service, there will be no songbooks or missalettes, and there will be some minor changes in the way that the Mass is celebrated. A few prayers will be dropped out. We probably will not be doing the Gloria or the Creed. The biggest change, and maybe we can move over toward the altar at this time. The biggest change is that at communion time, and this is one of the options that the bishops themselves had suggested, that at the actual communion time, only the priest would receive communion. And then we would finish basically the closing prayer, the blessing, if there's announcements or anything to be made. And then at that time, when it's time for the closing song, that would be the time that everybody would receive communion as you prepare to leave. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody should get up at the same time and crowd into the aisle. We'll have ushers here to assist you in that, but essentially what would happen is you would step out as your row or you are indicated to come up. You would follow. There are lines here in the gymnasium that have been put down to keep us basically 6 feet apart. If you're a family, you can come up together. If you're a couple, you can come up together. If you're an individual, then you need also to be socially distanced at this point. When you come up to receive communion, hopefully you will still be wearing a mask. I'd probably be wearing a mask or a face shield at that point as I give out communion. You would come up to receive communion in the hand, and then we would ask you as you receive communion to maybe step off to the side a few feet, and then you can lower your mask and receive communion and then move toward the door. If we have a number of people here, we might have another Eucharistic minister in the back of the church here, or the gymnasium, and people toward the back can be directed to go to them, and we would invite them to exit through the cafeteria so that we're not again crowding together on a particular place. As you leave the church, after you receive communion and as you're moving toward the door, as you leave the church, will be a table there that you'll pass by that will have among other things, a collection basket, believe it or not. We still want to take a collection, and please don't be afraid to be generous. But also there might be some of the reading material that's kind of stacked up around here that we usually give out after Mass. The Messenger, our Sunday Visitor, and that sort of thing. You're welcome to pick those things up. Please touch only what you plan to take home. Let me see if I've forgotten anything. Then as you go out the door, we ask you to respect social distancing outside as well. I know part of coming to Sunday Mass is that we visit with one another, but we ask you to do that outside and there to keep social distancing as well. The bulletin will be handed to you by one of the ushers so that we don't have everybody touching the stack of bulletins. and they will do that with a gloved hand. So above all, I would say just be patient, get here early, respect the social distancing. Weekend masses will continue to be on the website for those who would feel safer to view it at home. I do want to thank all the volunteers who have been helping to set up, organize, get the materials that we need, and who will be training to usher for Mass. And many thanks also for those who will clean up after each service and sanitize everything again. So thank you, and we're so happy to have you to be able to come back to Mass. I will certainly enjoy actually preaching and having people right there to listen. So we'll see you next week.